we are facing restrictions because of the pandemic, many may be wondering what is going to happen next. Maybe lockdown, more restrictions, less work, and the continuing fear of COVID overtaking us. Some who have been struggling now can see no end to the struggle. And because this is a worldwide pandemic, there seems no way of escape. Some might question, is there a God? And if there is, where is he? Some have given up on God. Some are giving up on themselves. However, God has not given up on you. In fact, he sees what's going on around you and how you feel within. Nothing is hidden from God. Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30. Come to me, all you that labour and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. In other words, you do not have to bear all your worries and burdens by yourself. Jesus is saying, come to me. I will share in your burdens, and they will become lighter and easier to bear. When God sent Jesus to die for us, he was sent from everyone. And when Jesus says all, that's exactly what he means. You, me, and many others. And the call he made to come is just as relevant now as it was then. Jesus spent 3 short years ministering and gathered to himself 12 disciples who stayed close to him, watching his miracles and listening to his teaching. And yet, one close to him betrayed him, another disowned him through fear, while the rest scattered and hid behind closed doors. Only a small group of women and John stood by while Jesus was crucified, one of which was his mother Mary. John 19, verses 25 to 27. Now there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother, and his mother's sister Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus therefore saw his mother and his disciple John, he said to his mother, Woman, behold your son. And then he said to John, Behold your mother. And from that hour, that disciple took her to his own home. Notice, this has been written by that same disciple John, so it is a matter of fact. Even as he hung on the cross, he spared a thought for his mother's well-being. And so it is today. Whether you care about God or not, he cares about you. And it says he has made a way of escape, that even though you are surrounded by fear and confusion, you can have peace within. The Bible calls it a peace that passes all understanding. So how do we get this peace? By inviting Jesus into our lives. Yes, he's still alive, not on earth, but in heaven, sitting on a throne and making intercession for us before his Father as we cry out to him. Hebrews 4 verse 16 tells us that we can come boldly to the throne of grace to obtain mercy and find grace in time of need. But it can work 2 ways, because in Revelation chapter 3 verse 20 Jesus says that he is standing at the door, your heart's door, and knocking. If any man hear my voice and opens the door, he will come in and have fellowship with him. So it stands each one of us to open our lives to him, and not to be afraid to approach the throne of grace in times of need. Having said all of this, I must ask this question. Do you want rest from your worries and cares? If so, then the answer is to approach that throne of grace and find mercy and invite Jesus into our lives. Remember this one thing. God knows everything about you, and yet he still loves you. So bring your worries and cares to him and rest a while, amidst pandemics, job losses, and anything else. Accept God's invitation to come and rest. And as Jesus knocks on your heart's door, open it, and he will come in. For those who already know this truth, it is time to put aside our worries and trust in him who has promised never to leave us nor forsake us. There is one last invitation to those who have let Jesus into their lives. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Let him who hears this come. Revelations 22, verse 17. You are invited to your eternal home in Jesus, for he will come back again and take us home to be with him forever and ever. Therefore, with the host of heaven and all the saints of God, we also say, even so, come, Lord Jesus. I'd like to finish with this poem called Footprints. Some of you might already know it, but it's appropriate. One night, a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. For each scene, he noticed two sets of footprints in the sand. One belonged to him, and the other to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints on the sand. And he noticed that many times along the path of his life, there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, that you would walk with me all the way. But I've noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there is only one set of footprints. I don't understand why when I needed you most, you would leave me, and would never. God replied, my precious, precious child, I love you and would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. Don't do life by yourself. Trust in God, who loves you and has promised always to be with you. So come and rest. Come to the throne of grace and obtain mercy. And come to your eternal home as he calls for you at the end of life's journey.